What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all so much for joining us here at Chad's Media for another episode of the Tyler Lennon Show. On behalf of Front Porch News and Chad's Media, I'm Tyler Lennon. We have a very special episode for y'all. We actually have our first recurring guest ever. We're very excited to introduce him, but first, we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors for making all of this happen. Thank you so much to The Beauty Parlor in Sulphur Springs, Avco Roofing in Sulphur Springs, Realtor Lindsay Lee with Watson Company in Sulphur Springs, and Robin Boshears Chiropractic with Lone Star Clinic. Like I said, very special episode and a very special guest, our first recurring guest ever. We got the homie Cade in the building. Cade, what's going on, man?
Not much, man. I'm super stoked to be here again.
I'm super stoked to have you here. You say again, I mentioned first our recurring guest ever. For anyone that's new to the show or doesn't know, the very first episode we ever did of the Tyler Lennon Show was with you. We did that live. That was a ton of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
And obviously we got to a bunch of stuff then, but that was a few months ago. A lot of stuff is happening. We have even more to talk about now.
True.
Want to start with, I think one of the main things that we were like promoting when you got here, or the last time you were here, was you were about to drop Inferno.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think that, right?
Yeah.
And we actually gave a little preview. We gave like an exclusive sneak peek here.
Yeah. Wasn't it that little clip where I was turning?
Yes. So for anyone that doesn't know, you dropped the song Inferno and the music video with it, and my boss, the man that makes all this happen, Chad, was the director of that.
Yes, he was.
Gotta ask one, I think you already talked a little bit about that, but what was that process like, just making the music video and everything?
Man, music videos are so fun to me. They were, when I first started doing them, and I haven't done a lot, but I always thought they were a little awkward. I didn't know how to like really go about it, because you're literally having to forget the fact that like this isn't about like what's going on. Like, you're all in front of a camera. You have to make sure that you're performing for like what's on the video and stuff like that. Right. So at first it was always difficult, but now I love it. And Chad made it super easy. Like, Chad's like, he's usually which I like being in control of like creative and stuff. And I had some ideas, but Chad was like, okay, you do this and do this, and it just helped me and just made me feel more comfortable. But
see, one of the things I've noticed working for and with Chad, and like obviously I don't make music and everything, but Chad's really, really good about, if you have a vision, if you have something you're trying to make happen, you pitch that to him and he'll find a way to make that happen for you. And like you said, also present new ideas. I wanted to ask, what's the fan reception been like for the video? Because the song itself is kind of different from what we're used to from you, and I think when you have the visual with it, that obviously helps, the feel that you were going for. But again, the visual itself, I feel like very different from what we've seen from you in the past. So what's the fan reception been like on that?
Every person who has seen the video, as well as listened to the song, but everyone who has paired that with the video has had nothing but good things to say. And they were like, dude, this is like insane. Like, they're like, you look so good. Like, this is the whole thing. Chad made me look great. Like, he made the whole thing look like the way I portrayed it, and everyone's said like, yo, this is really dope. Like, everyone loves it. So, and I love it personally. It's my favorite video for sure. And it's not just because Chad's in the room. That's because it is actually my favorite video. I love it.
No, 100%. Inferno was the lead single, I believe, off your new EP, right? Mm-hmm. Into the Dark. Mm-hmm. How did this EP, how did Into the Dark come about? What inspired you to make this project? And for anyone, looking forward to it, or maybe they've heard it already, we're recording this in the future, so a little behind the scenes
for sure.
Information there. But how long was that in the making? What came about that? And also, what's the feel? What's the sound? How is it different from what you've done in the past?
Gotcha. Okay, so to go on the point of how long I've been working on it, the first song that I actually made that is making it on the project is Cutting Ties, and I made that song the middle of 2020, I think. It's been almost 2 years ago. I made it in my closet, actually, because at the time I had just moved back to my dad's house. I was on the road with Pecos and the Rooftops, and I just didn't have a place to really have any music equipment at all. So I just had my laptop and interface, and I went in my closet because I previously, back in 2016, 2017, I had padded this closet because I was once living there in this guest room to record vocals in. And so It was still padded and everything, so I was like, this is the only place I've got. I went into the closet, and I just put my computer up, I recorded the vocals. That was the first song that I made. So I guess technically it's been almost 2 years in the making, which is crazy to think. I've made other songs in between there and released them.
Right.
But this...
And of course, that's not like a set thing. Like, I'm working on this project, these are the songs I'm making. Like, you're making other stuff along the way.
Yes. And I don't know. And really, like, I made Cutting Ties because I knew it was going to go on a project, and I knew that I wanted this project to be very, very dark. And I think we talked about this last time. That it's very dark. But actually, since last time we talked, I said that, fumbling my words. I said that the project was mostly about like one of my darkest areas of life, like when I was dealing with depression and a lot of stuff like that. And it still is, but I've kind of knocked off a few songs because it's not who I am today. And it's weird to say that because I still wanted to portray that message. There's like maybe 2 or 3 songs on the thing that are that portrayed that whole part of me. The rest of it's kind of just like, I hate to say it, but like relationship, like bashing relationships. Just me kind of like in a place of like, I feel good now where I'm at, and this person that did me wrong, forget you. And so that's what a lot of it's about too. So
I mean, it's tough when you're making something like that because again, you're making it over such an extended period of time, and like when you first started making the project, you felt this way, you felt that way, but by the time you get it done, by the time it's released, you might be in a completely different headspace. So at that point, it's like, is this just art, or you know what I mean? Like that could be really tough.
Yeah. So I think I'd listened back to a few songs that were originally going to be on the project, and I was like, I like these songs, but I don't think I can relate to them as much as I used to, and that's okay. Maybe somebody out there could have, but I also just like, let me freshen it up a little bit. Let me put something on a project that maybe other people could just be able to bounce to a little bit, and that's something that I wanted to put out there. But the whole vibe of the project is still dark. Sonically, it's just the darkest stuff that I've ever made, and I think it's definitely my best stuff. But I say that every time I make a new song, I fall in love with the next project.
Every time you send me something new, I'm like, no, that's my favorite thing you've ever seen. You're talking about kind of being in that dark space and everything. How therapeutic is it for you to make, you're feeling that way, and now you actually have like an outlet, I guess?
Extremely. It's like probably my only thing that I can do to get past, like, that is my therapy, honestly. That and video games, but that's a different subject. And that's only like occasionally, but music has always been, it doesn't matter how sad I am, no matter what I'm going through. If I'm making music, everything feels great. If I'm listening to music, everything feels great. Music always has just been like that piece of my soul that I like need.
So I feel you on that, especially listening to music. Like no matter what mood you're in, like you have certain artists or certain albums, certain mixtapes that you want to listen to, and like you have something that fit every mood.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about it being therapeutic, and you also mentioned how like it doesn't relate to you. When you're making music like that, do you think how it's going to relate with your audience, or is it more just, this is therapeutic for me, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I want to do right now, hopefully people relate to it?
Yeah, no, I'm usually thinking about both. I want to make sure that I'm relating to my own music, because I don't want to put something out that's not me, right. I guess. But I'm always in the back of my mind trying to make sure that the audience will relate, because at the end of the day, I'm also a businessman, I guess, and
True.
This is a career of mine, and I got to make sure that what I'm putting out to people, they're going to want to consume it. So I try to be relatable on both ends, because it is important to me that I make stuff that I relate to, but it is also just as important that the audience relates to it.
Right. So. Real quick, want to talk more about this new project, and of course you've done a lot of touring, you've done some shows and everything lately. We're going to get into all of that.
Sweet.
But very quickly, we want to take a moment to hear a word from our supporting sponsors who make all of that happen. We're going to go to them, and then we'll be right back with more from Cade.
Sweet.
I am Dr. Robin Boshiers Patrick, located at Lone Star Clinic. I am a Sulphur Springs, Texas native, and I am dedicated to serving the chiropractic needs of my community. Call me today to set up your appointment, and let's get you straightened out.
At Avco Roofing, we strive to fulfill our mission statement of protecting homes, strengthening families, and building community. It's more than a slogan. It's the heartbeat of who we are and how we serve our customers. Located in Sulphur Springs near I-30 and Broadway, there's no project we can't handle. Call Avco Roofing for all your home and commercial property needs.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Lee, realtor at Caldwell Banker Watson Company in Sulphur Springs. Born and raised in Hopkins County, I am the small town realtor you are looking for to help buy or sell your home. I specialize in farm and ranch, residential, and lake properties. Contact me today and let me do the work for you. Get your key with Lindsay Lee.
Hi, I'm Audrey Clark, owner and stylist of The Beauty Parlor. We are located at 206 West Shannon Road in Sulphur Springs, Texas. We are Tony and Guy trained, and we specialize in custom cut and color. You're already beautiful. Come let us highlight it.
And we are back. Cade, before the break, I mentioned we were going to talk about some shows that you've been doing recently. I think I haven't mentioned yet, but obviously you are in the process of moving right now.
Yep.
So I think for anyone that doesn't know, the context is necessary. You not only have a new project that you obviously want to tour and want fans to hear, but you're moving. So this is kind of like your last chance to do some shows right now.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Obviously you did a run of shows. You did Terrell and Commerce, if I'm leaving any out.
Yeah, we've done more than that, but those are the two recent ones.
The most recent ones. I have to ask, man, how did all that come about? How do you go? I think people would be very curious to hear how you go about picking venues, who's going to play with you. I mean, how did this kind of tour come about?
Well, so thankfully, to bring it back, when I was with Pecos, I made a lot of connections with venues because we toured a lot. We toured around America. And so throughout that, I was very mindful of, it's just my personality too, but I was very mindful of making friends with the venue owners and people whoever were booking, they were already friends with us because we would come in and they already knew the situations, but I made it a point myself to talk to them and also just keep up with contact info. And this all actually started, thankfully, we played Bubba's Brew House in Durant, Oklahoma. Shout out Bubba's because I love those guys. We played there.
You're in Durant. Did you hit the casino while you're there?
Yes, we did actually.
Nice.
This was actually we didn't. Yeah, we did. Was it that night? It was that night. Yes, we did.
Okay, how dope of a night is that? You go out, you play a show, and then you hit the casino?
It was great, and the night did not end. It took forever. But, yeah, man, we played at Bubba's for one of the last times when I was at Pecos, and I talked to the owner, and he plays, like, my music, because it turns into a nightclub after the shows are done. People stay till 2 a.m. and they're dancing, and it's usually hip-hop and pop and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was standing out in the crowd one night, and that played, and I was like, and I turned around, it's Back from the Dead. And he's in the DJ booth. He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So
you're at the club and you're just like, oh, wait, that's my song.
That's my song. I was like, I'm vibing. So I go back to him. I was talking to him. I was like, dude, thank you for playing that. And I didn't know you even like listened to it. He's like, yeah, bro, I love your stuff. I was like, well, that's sick. Like, what would you think about me doing a show here? And he was all about it. He was like, dude, like, you just let me know when and I'm ready. And I was like, okay, well, let me get back home. Let me get off the road for a little bit. Let me make sure, like, see what my schedule is going to be like, and I'll hit you up and we'll schedule a date. He was like, perfect. So that was when I first had it in mind. I was like, I need to start doing shows again because I was just with Pecos and I was playing with them. And I started getting a little worried because at the end of the day, like, my career is my most important.
Right.
Like, it's important to me. So I was like, I need to start getting back at doing this. And so he was super down. We made the date. We played Durant. I think it was June 12th of last year. And man, the show just went really well. We didn't have the greatest crowd or the biggest crowd, but we had a great crowd. They were all super into it. People were singing the music.
Yeah, in a place like Durant, that's kind of tough because you hope that your people travel, but at the same time, you don't know how well the people in that area are going to be familiar with your work.
Exactly. And Durant's kind of like a weird town, like not weird, but like the fact that there's not a lot of people there that are probably going to listen to my music. So most of the crowd came from around, driving at least an hour and a half. Like there was a lot of dedicated people there, and it showed me that I was like, whoa, like people are actually supporting.
Right.
It was beautiful, man. Like I hadn't played a show in like a year, or I think it'd been about a year span before I'd played a show for myself. And it just opened my eyes. I was like, dude, I gotta start doing this again. Like I gotta get back to this. And I really didn't have it in my head to quit Pecos and Rooftops that soon. But after that had happened, I was like, dude, this is where I need to be. So that had happened, and I know I'm trailing off, but that happened. And then so yeah, I just hit up a bunch of venues that I'd known that we had played, some that I hadn't played that other people had connections with, and I was just like, we got to do this thing. We got to start booking shows. And man, what a great thing. Like honestly, because if I didn't do that, I would probably, not that that's a bad thing, but I would probably still be with Pecos right now. I was very comfortable. I was having a great time. But I'm glad I did that because it showed me I need to get out of my comfort zone and get back to like grinding. So
I mean, it would have been really easy to fall into, and again, not that would have been a bad thing or anything, but like you're with a group, you're touring, there is success. Mm-hmm. It's maybe the safer route, but at the same time, like you said, your solo career is always going to be, I mean, every decision you make, you kind of have to make it with that in mind.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the difference touring wise when you're on stage? Obviously, like you said, you did a ton of shows with Pecos and the Rooftops. Obviously now you're a solo artist, so it is a big difference in that sense. But which one do you prefer, and how big of a difference is it?
Huge difference, and I do prefer being up front. It's so much more exhilarating. Like, I never, oddly enough, we played for really big crowds when I was with Pecos. I'm going to get back to that with myself, obviously. I'm not playing for that big of crowds right now, but man, we played for some really big crowds, and never once ever was I ever nervous, because like, I just go back to the drums. I know my part. I'm not the focus of anything. I'm just back there doing my thing. It was fun, but there was no like, I don't know. It's just
you're not the one hyping up the crowd. You're not transitioning from song to song. You're not feeling. How tough is that? Or is that when you get on there, is it just like come natural? Or because I think one thing people might not realize, if you don't go to shows like that, but two, you might just never thought of it. But especially if you're a solo act, I mean, you're not just playing this song and then we didn't see play that song. Like, you're doing stuff in between songs. You're trying to get the crowd hyped. You're trying to get them involved. You're talking to them. Yeah. I mean, does that just come natural to you, or was that kind of tough to figure out at first?
No, I used to think I wanted to plan that kind of stuff out, like in between shows or in between songs, and it never really worked. I just say, screw it, I'm just gonna let it flow. And usually, sometimes that's a bad thing. I don't know. Sometimes I say stupid stuff, and sometimes it works out. I don't know. I just usually just let it pour out, because I don't really know. I don't like planning stuff like that.
Fortunately, you can say anything, and the crowd will be like, yeah.
I would hope so. But yeah, man. It's definitely more exhilarating to do my own shows, because like when your music is the reason that they're there, like it's just so much more exhilarating. I don't know what it is, like especially like with the Commerce show. You were there at the last show. Mm-hmm. Bro, what a show.
Dude, that show was awesome. And first we will get to each of these individuals, but all the opening acts were great. I mean, from the time you got in the door, it was a great time. It was a great crowd. I mean, that place was packed. I haven't been to that venue in years. Yeah. But I mean, it was packed in there. And like you said, it was a great crowd, very active crowd.
Very
I felt
active.
Like. I mean, you go to some shows and you have people just standing by the bar, kind of standing in the back, maybe playing pool. Yeah. Like, that was not the case. The dance floor was packed. People that couldn't get on the dance floor, they were, standing on the rails. I mean, that was a great show, and the crowd was great.
And they were singing so much, dude.
Right.
And that was like the coolest. That's always been that's like the end goal for me. Like, not the end goal, I'm gonna quit, but like, I do it so that I hear people sing it back and like have a good time. Like, that makes me emotional, honestly. I'm just like, oh my God. Like,
when you're in the studio, when you're making the songs, do you have that in mind? Like, how is this going to play at a show?
Yes, always. And you never really know, because you think that's what, like, I make sure every song is going to be a great energy in a performance live, but you never really know until you're out there doing it. And I get surprised every time, I'm not going to lie. It's great.
So how tough was it to decide what your set list was going to be for these shows?
It's always been tough. I changed it every show. I didn't have a same set list for any show, I don't think.
Which, for the people that got to go to multiple shows, that's great for them.
Absolutely.
You're getting to see, a new show.
Absolutely. It was always kind of difficult, because especially in the last couple shows, our guitar player had to step back, so I didn't have a guitar player, and so I had to kind of accommodate the set list according to that, because we had a lot of rock covers in there originally, and it's kind of hard to play rock covers without a guitar player,
right?
So we just had to think about it. I had to think about a lot of things like that, and but usually making set lists is pretty easy for me. Like knowing the flow of it. I know that I got to start off heavy, and then I got to end heavy, and I know that needs to go up and down. I need to have like some highs, some lows, bring them up, bring them down. That's always been kind of like one of my things. I'm really like creative when it comes to like building shows and stuff like that. And to speak on the shows, I feel like the set list, including like the performance and the production of everything, I felt like I've been saying this, and it's not just like bias, and I really give a lot of credit to Colton and Jacob and Heath.
Shout out to Colton. Colton, close homie. Love Colton.
Love those guys. And I give a lot of credit to them. I think we built a really fantastic show. Like,
100%.
For any bands or artists like around here. I don't think it's the best, but I think we built a really fantastic show.
Well, like you said, there's so much more to it, and it's not just you come out the gate hot, then you slow down, then you get hot again. Like, there's so much in between too. I mean, you have maybe a slow song and you kind of pick back up a little bit, then maybe another slow song, maybe somewhere in between the two, something that's just kind of a vibe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think people would realize how tough it is to build a set list.
Yeah. And one of my favorite parts of the set, and just the show in general, is I would play my song Forever, and I usually play acoustic on it, and then the band would leave, and I do a little acoustic set, whatever comes to my head, And then we always do The Kill by 30 Seconds to Mars. I'm a huge, I love rock and just alternative rock and all that stuff. And I start that song off acoustic, and this is how we bring the show back. That's a really big song and a really important song. So I just started off acoustic, sing it, and then on the second chorus, I hold out this note, and the band comes up and they swell in on it, and then the whole band comes in and just brings it. That's always been my favorite part of the show. Cause
that's such a cool touch that people probably wouldn't think about, but that's such a cool way to bring them back, get them involved in everything.
Yeah.
I said we were going to talk about some of these guys. Oh, real quick, before we do, I did have to ask, you played, like you said, some local spots. You played at Commerce, you played at Terrell. How cool was that to get to play not only at places that are close, your fans are going to travel, but I don't know this for a fact, but I'm assuming, just as a fan, you've been to Terrell 100 times. I do know for a fact, because I've been there with you, you've been to Commerce 1,000 times.
1,000 times, yeah.
So how cool was it to get to play at those spots that you've gone to so many times?
Very cool, especially for Terrell. Just because the Silver Saloon's it's a big venue, it's a big stage.
It's a very big place.
And I've played it with Pecos before. And the first time I ever played Silver Saloon was with Dylan Wheeler. I played guitar for him. That was the first time I'd ever, even
Shout out to Dylan Wheeler. He is doing his thing right now.
Dude, he just released an album, by the way, and I'm going to plug it. It's amazing. It's absolutely.
All his stuff is really good.
Yes, dude.
And he has, from what I could tell, great fan base.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was the first time I ever played Silver Saloon. And then I played it with Pecos a couple times, but it's always, like I said, it's different. When it's me, because they can book all the bands that I'm in all they want, but it's not because of me. If they book me, it's because of me.
Right.
And so it was great to be able to step on it, and it always feels different. It doesn't matter. It's gonna feel so much different if I've been up there with a band versus myself, because the energy is there for whatever you're doing.
Right.
If I'm just playing drums, which is fine, but they're not there for that. They're here for the whole thing, and I'm a part of it, and it's great. But when you step on and you're the entertainer, it's just different. So it was very cool.
How cool is it also, generally speaking, these are country venues.
Yeah.
And you are not a country artist.
Yeah.
So how cool is it to be hey, I know y'all play country acts here, but they think highly enough of you that even though you're not playing that kind of music, they want to have you. They want your fans there. They know you're going to bring people there, and you're going to put on a good show.
Yeah, and that's actually that's a great question, because not a lot of people ask about that, and I do think about that. I'm these are country venues.
Right.
My kind of artists don't step into these venues.
I would go on a limb and say at maybe both of those spots, you're probably the only artist of your genre or your type of music that has performed there.
Yeah, I feel like Silver Saloon may have had it a couple times. I don't know. I think they've been branching out recently.
Especially maybe as an opening act or something, but to headline the show.
Yeah, definitely not a headliner. I don't think there's been a headliner like that. But that's just based off of what I've seen. I don't really know for a fact, but I do know in Commerce, no, dude, man, I don't know. It is crazy to me because it's an honor to me. I know I don't play this kind of music. You're allowing me into your venue to do this, and you trust in me and whatever we got going on enough to let us play, and it's amazing. I feel great about it. We were going to talk about Commerce. I forgot what I was going to say, but I had something to say about Commerce. Oh yes, so my first, and I mentioned this at the show. I played at the Mule, or a little bit, whatever you want to call it now, years and years ago, with my boy. I was playing with my dude Hudson Northcutt. I think he might have been there. I don't know if he was or not. I think I might have done it solo this time, actually. Solo, acoustic, played at the Mule. I brought 12 people, maybe 12. It was a very small crowd. The people that were there were super supportive, and they liked what I was doing. I wasn't playing any originals. It was just acoustic, covers and stuff. And I even sang a little country, which isn't really in my realm.
Hindsight, an acoustic cover show would have been a lot of fun. Because if nothing else, your taste in music, you would have picked songs that would have been a fun show, I feel like.
And it was. But it's just, it goes to show, now, reflecting on the last show that we just did, the amount of people that showed up to support, it's just astronomical compared to, the first time I ever played there. So that really just, opened my eyes to everything. I was like, this is really kind of happening.
Right.
This is actually kind of picking up. I don't know, dude. There was 200 people there.
It was packed in there, dude.
And compared to the first time I'd ever played there, it's just insane for me to kind of watch it unfold.
Which is funny. I say it was packed. I knew that it was going to be packed. I never once thought people aren't going to come out. But still, I think, and I had been there forever. But you walk in the door. And I got there pretty early. Yeah. Dawn had already started, but I got there pretty early, and I was like, "Oh my god! Am I gonna have somewhere to stand?" It was packed in there.
Yeah.
I mentioned Dawn. asked you earlier how hard it is to build a set list. How did it come about building who was going to tour with you? You had Don Lewis, you had the homies 91 and Sway.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Man, 91 and Sway have been like, they're two of my closest friends right now. Like they're my boys. They've been on every single show that I've played so far since I've been solo. They were at the Durant show all the way up to the Commerce show. I met 91 when I was with Pecos. We played a show in Arkansas, Fort Smith, at the Majestic. And the very first manager for Pecos and the Rooftops is also 91 Sways. I guess he's kind of their manager, also does their marketing and stuff. I don't really know his exact title. But he was originally Pecos and Rooftops manager. And so that's how he knew of the guys. That's how he knew of me. And at the Majestic show, he's like, dude, I want to introduce you to somebody. My friend 91's here, and, you know, we've talked about you. And I was like, yeah, I bet. So I went out into the crowd and met him. And, man, just immediately, like, just knew, like, this guy was somebody I wanted to mess with. Like,
see, I wanted to mention, shout out to 91. Obviously, I've known him through Twitter and stuff, but got to meet him at your show.
Yeah.
And the second I met him, I was like, okay, this is a super cool dude.
Great
like,
dude.
that's the homie. Like, he super cool.
Absolutely. We met right there. He showed me Little Red Ferrari, actually, right there.
Oh, really?
Was probably a year or so before it ever even released. And he was like, dude, I want you on this song. I was like, yeah, by all means, please. Like, I would love to be on the song because he's super talented, dude. And anyways, that was my first encounter with him. And then it just kind of trailed off. We kind of kept in touch on social media and whatnot. I hadn't met Sway yet until, I don't think I even met Sway until the Durant show, actually.
Oh, really?
And, you know, I'd seen a lot about him, heard a lot about him. But, man, same energy, dude. I met Sway. I was like, yo, this dude's fire. Like, I don't understand. Like, they're just such genuine people. And everything about their show inspired me. The first show we did in Durant, they had so much energy, dude. Like, they were just out there giving every single part of their soul to the performance and to the crowd. And it inspired me so much. I was like, I'm not going to lie. This is an intimate crowd right now. And to have this much energy in front of an intimate crowd like this, it's very difficult to do.
Dude, I wanted to point out, they are incredible performers.
Yes.
I think not necessarily, not to take away from how talented they are,
Yeah.
but when I go to a show, I always look at not how talented you are, specifically how good of a performer you are.
Yes.
How good you are on stage, how good you interact with the crowd. And, you know, there were probably a decent amount of people there that didn't really know their music like that,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't have known that. I mean, just looking around at the crowd, you'd have thought, no, everyone in here knows every word of this song. Like, they are all the way in.
Yep. And that's super inspiring to me. So we did that first show. I was like, I brought them in the back. I was like, I just got to let y'all know, dude, like, y'all got me pumped up. Like, I don't think y'all understand how much y'all are influencing me.
Right.
And, you know, they've told me the same thing, but, like, at the end of the day, like, I feel like they probably influence me way more than I do them. Like, they keep me going, dude. And they work so hard, man. They make so much music together, and they're just constantly working it. I just look at them like, y'all are crazy. Like, y'all have a lot of output, and I got to step up my game. But they keep me, like...
Which, that's great people to have around. People who are not only talented, but are super hard workers that you look at and you're like, oh, I'm not working like that. I need to be on that level.
Yes.
I need to be working like that.
Yes, that, and then plus the energy, dude. Like, just them as human beings, like... Yeah, I would not have wanted anyone else to do all these shows with me. So they've been on all the shows that I've done. Don, I think the first one he did with us was in Denton at... forgetting the venue name, but he jumped on a couple shows, and Don is from Commerce, so that was kind of like a thing. Like, yeah, you gotta jump on this show. Like, it's gotta be something that you're a part of. Absolutely.
What's cool with the group, that specific group, Don, 91 Sway, and then yourself, although y'all are all from this general area, so from that sense, y'all probably do have a good bit of overlap when it comes to the fan base.
Yeah.
Y'all all do make your own music. Don, a little more different than maybe the rest of y'all. You work with some of them a good bit, but, like, it is all specific. Y'all all have a sound.
Yeah.
So how much do you think people came, maybe specifically to see Don, they stick around, they're like, oh, I need to listen to Cade now? Or people that came to see 91 and Sway, they listen to him. Like, how much do you think y'all get fans from each other's fan base?
I'm sure a lot. I mean, it's really hard to gauge it anyways, but I mean, I definitely feel like if they weren't a part of the shows, at least the crowds for me wouldn't have been as big, and so I'm super grateful for that. And I feel the same. Like, I wish, and I know some people, like, tend to show up later because they want to see a certain act or whatnot. I wish people would show up earlier because I feel like these acts deserve more attention and more crowds up front. Sadly, that's just kind of the way it goes when it comes to shows and openers and stuff. But man, I'm sure, like, absolutely, I'm sure there's at least half the crowd that's probably there because of them, and then they just stayed and they're like, whoa, you know, and I'm super grateful for that too. But man, I don't know what to say about those guys, but they're just amazing, dude.
One of the things I wanted to mention, I've always thought it was super cool that you do work with a lot of people from around here, you know, 91 Sway, Don, J Riz, a lot of people from East Texas, 903 people, even if y'all aren't making the same kind of music. Is that something that you hope and expect to do more of after you move, or do you think maybe kind of go do your thing for a little while and then see what happens?
I know that 91 Sway are going to be connected, like, no matter what. I think they eventually want to get out to LA. I think we've actually been talking about it, like what their best plan of action is to get out there as soon as possible. It's the place to be. Like, you have to be there if you want this thing to, like, blow up. There's just so many things to do there and so many connections. But I'm definitely going to be in connects with them. Like, we're going to make music probably for the rest of our lives together, whether that's like on the song together or writing for each other, writing with each other, producing with each other. I'm almost 100% sure they're going to be for lifers when it comes to this, like, this whole game. As far as that, I mean, yeah, if any of the guys from here want to collab, I'm never going to be like, no. But I think I am going to, aside from 91 Sway, because they're locked in, I think I'm going to branch out a little bit and start collabing with more people. Like,
I mean, this is your opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that kind of transitions into my next question. I was going to ask, what are some of the things that you're looking most forward to with your move? Obviously, I'm sure getting the chance to collab with some new people and just meet new people would be part of that. But.
Yeah. Man, there's a lot. I mean, this whole move is going to be pretty overwhelming, honestly, because I'm coming from Cumbie, Texas, to, like, Music City, pretty much, like one of the bigger cities, and I'm looking forward to a lot of things. One, just outside of the music, I'm looking forward to a landscape change, like just being able to have other things to do and other things to look at. That's really exciting. When it comes to the music, I'm just most excited to be able to collab with other producers and writers, because I've been doing this thing mostly like 95% by myself, like this entire time, which is great. I'm a perfectionist. It doesn't bother me, but it gets a little overwhelming in the work sense sometimes.
I'm sure it probably makes you a more all-around or well-rounded artist, having to do all that stuff. But
I feel like it does, but I also feel like because I'm doing so much, I start to lack in other areas.
Right, you can't put the amount of focus
everything
you need to in the areas that you need to put it in.
So I'm looking forward to just being an artist, honestly. I know I'm going to have help in the production and mixing and all that, to be able to put some of that down. And of course I'm going to do it from time to time. I'm never going to not do it. But to be able to put it down for a little bit and just be an artist, just like focus on the recording, my vocals, writing songs, and like kind of collabing on like production, but not really taking over all of it. I'm looking forward to that for a little bit. Of course, there's going to be a point in time where I'm like, okay, I just got to sit down and make a beat. I got to do this. I got to do that. But I need a break a little bit when it comes to that. I just need to be an artist. So I'm looking forward to that.
You know, you mentioned the landscape change and just seeing different things. I think that alone could make a huge difference with your music, because literally so much of music is just based off your life experiences, and what's in your head, what do you think, what do you feel, and just getting out to a new place and living life and experiencing things could make a huge difference with the sound or the feel of your music.
Exactly. The beach is like 35 minutes away from where I'm going to be staying. That's never been obtainable for me. Like, I've always had to drive it.
You look like someone who's always lived by the beach, if we're being honest.
You would think, and I wish, but yeah, it's always been at least, if I'm going to Galveston, you know, it's at least like a 5 or 6 hour drive.
That's not
to the
the
beach,
same.
and that's not the same.
Someone who lived in Galveston for a little while, that's not the same thing.
It ain't worth it. But if I want to go to a nice beach, it was Florida, and that's at least a 12-hour drive, 10 or 11, you know. And so there's just so many things that are attainable that are there that I've always wanted to be around that are going to inspire me a lot. Like, I know that's crazy to say, but traveling and like is like my greatest passion. Like, I do music because it's a great passion, but it also leads to traveling too.
Right. Which traveling leads to great music afterwards.
Exactly. So, I mean, I'm just inspired by the whole thing. I think there's going to be just a new setting. I'm going to be able to just gather energy from everything, and also the new people I'm meeting. Maybe someone's going to do me dirty down there. Maybe it might be a girl. I don't know. It might inspire some new stuff.
Selfishly, will also lead to good music.
Exactly. So I'm ready for all of it, because I think it's just gonna escalate everything.
What's the fan reception been like? Because you've been very vocal about it. You've been very upfront. Hey guys, you know, you've had some posts. You're like letting people know this big change in your life is happening. What's the obviously your friends and family, they got your back. I'm sure they've been, you know, we're all rooting for you. We're all supporting you. But what's the fan reception been like?
It's been very supportive, but also very sad. Like, I've had everyone, like just about everyone who's been close enough and been a close fan, and that could also be really good friends. They've all reached out and been like, hey, like, I'm super excited for you, but I'm really going to be sad because you're not going to be around. And I'm the same way. Like, I'm a very big people person, so that's the biggest thing about the move that I'm gonna look back on and be a little sad about. So leaving my people. Like, I can get by with getting away with the town and all that stuff, but my people is like the most important thing to me. So, but the fan reception has been great. Everyone's super supportive, and they're ready to see what happens. And a lot of people actually have been like, hey, you just let us know when you're doing shows in LA. We'll fly or we'll drive. We want to come see you in LA too. I was like, well, that's amazing for one. I don't know if that's really what the case is going to be. I'm sure I'm going to be playing some shows in LA, but of course the goal is to.
If you do shows in LA, I'm making it to at least one show in LA. I can't not. If you're playing a show in LA, like, how dope would that be to go see the homie Cade in LA? Like,
absolutely.
Got to make it out to that.
Yeah, that would be great. But obviously, the goal of mine is to tour and to get out of California too. So yeah, I don't know, man. The fan reception, like I said, has been great, very supportive, and I'm super grateful for that, honestly.
I will say, I don't want to take up too much of your time. We'll start to wrap this up fairly quickly, but we talked earlier when you were talking about the making of the project itself. Yeah. We talked kind of about, like, even though you're working on a project, you're doing outside stuff, and you're always working on what's next. Yeah. How much have you been working on what's next? Do you have any idea what's next? Real quickly, I won't give the title away. I won't give any specifics away. But Cade has something. It probably won't be released anytime soon, but it is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I know I always flex and brag on here that Cade sends me the stuff first. He's the plug. I get the stuff early. I get to hear it before it's released. But he's got some stuff, y'all. The whole album's great, but some stuff he's got way off in the future is amazing. I can't wait for it.
I'm excited about it.
I say I can't wait for it. I listen to it every day. But
I've got.
I can't wait for y'all to hear it.
I've got some stuff, and I'm really excited about it. But to be honest, in the last few months, I haven't really focused on any of that because, like I said, I'm in control of the entire album. I'm doing everything from the editing to the recording to the engineering to the mixing to the producing, like all of it. So it's kind of started to buckle down to the ending of this of the project. And I know, like, this is going to be airing later, but I guess at now is the time that I'm still working on it. I haven't really had much time. I've just been so focused on getting this done and making sure that all my focus and attention is on that. And it's almost to the point where I'm not even listening to any other music anymore because I'm just so, like, honed in on trying to make sure everything sounds right. As soon as it's done, though, as soon as it's out to the world, I'm back on the grind. And I'm super excited about that because
you give yourself like one night to celebrate, like, hey, album released today, let's all celebrate and enjoy it, or
no.
You just immediately, even the day of, you're like, I'm already working on whatever's.
No, actually, I'm not neither of those. I'm kind of lazy, dude. I give myself 2 weeks every time, because I'm like, for one, I've been working really hard and I want to just chill. Like, I don't have a rush. I'm not going to put anything out anytime soon. I just need to chill, and I like to absorb everything. I believe in work, and I love working, don't get me wrong. I am a workaholic, but I like to breathe, and I like to just sit back and enjoy, like, whatever's been made and not have to worry about anything else, and I can just soak it all in. Like, that's my biggest thing, and it's a 2 week period every time. I do it every time.
I will say, to that point, one thing, and I've heard a lot of artists talk about this, but my favorite artist ever, heard Mac Miller say this one time, but he was talking about he gets so wrapped up in his work that he said sometimes you literally have to take a break because, you know, your work, your music is about your life. Yeah. But if you're not taking the time to go live, you know what I mean? So I think that's a really good idea to give yourself just a 2-3 week break in between stuff before you're like, all right, now let's get started again.
And that 2 week break can be filled with anything, honestly. Probably
a lot of sleeping in, I feel like. Knowing you, I feel like probably some sleep in it.
I sleep in every day, doesn't matter. Like, because, man, this career is just so different. Like,
right.
I don't really have to wake up at a specific time. I wake up when I want to wake up, and I get kind of my day stuff done, and then I get in the studio until
who knows?
ungodly hours.
Right.
4 a.m., But that's like my production. Like, that's my production hours. I feel more inspired late at night, especially like in a now situation because I am home and there's so many outside influences like friends and stuff like that to be like, hey, let's do this and let's do that. When I'm awake at like midnight to 4 a.m., no one's bothering me. And that's
only Tyler, only me, who you can be like, hey, will you listen to this?
Yes.
You'll text me at 2 a.m. like at 2:05. I'm like, yeah, that was really dope.
I'll do that. But yeah, I don't know. And I just gather inspiration from so many things, from the smallest of things, dude. If I'm playing Xbox and my friends are in the party and they're just saying a bunch of crazy, funny stuff, that stuff can inspire me. Like, I just inspire by a lot of things. So I just spend the 2 weeks just chilling, doing whatever it is. I could travel, I could go do whatever, but I'm just gonna lay low for 2 weeks.
Sonically, the way it's gonna sound, feel, you don't have any idea yet? Just gonna see how that goes?
Everything after?
Yeah.
No. And it's not gonna be anything like what this project is. Like I think I said it last time we did this, I had a goal in mind to make a dark project, and that's what I wanted this to be. It's not necessarily me at the end of the day. You ask anybody, I'm always smiling, dude.
I'm
such
one
a
of the
happy
happiest people I've ever known.
It's really kind
I've
of
never
like,
seen you not be in a good mood.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like it's polar opposite of like who I am, but I wanted to display that side of me because that is there, and you know. But after this, I don't think I'm going to go that route. Of course, I'll, you know, in the future there might be songs that are on the darker side, but it's not going to be my focus anymore. I'm just going to let it flow. And I think there's going to be some rock influence. And there already is on this project, but maybe a little more. And then also just more, I don't know. I'm just going to experiment a lot. I just want to branch out and just be different. I don't want to look back at all my older stuff, all my older singles, and just be like, I need to make more like this because I just want to grow. I just want to show people that I can like.
Right. No matter how good you are at one, like you're always constantly trying to find your sound or whatever your sound is going to be right now. Mentioning how like the rest of the stuff moving forward probably won't be like this project. I think that'll be really, really, really cool to look back on later in life because when you look at your discography like as a whole, one, this project is going to be one that I think certain fans are like, no, that's my favorite one ever. But also it'll just be cool to go back and look at all the different stuff and be like, oh yeah, he had that one album. It didn't sound nothing like the rest of it, but like it's really cool to have that in there, I feel like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, before we get you out of here, man, I got to ask, is there anything, this is kind of your platform. I know you have a bunch of followers. You get to talk to your fans, but consider this kind of like an open forum to your fans. Anything you want to tell them before you get out of here?
At the end of the day, dude, like to the fans, it's an honor. Like it's an honor to be a part of y'all. Like honestly, because I can't do. I know it's so cliche, but you really just can't do any of this without the fans. And if it wasn't for everyone showing up to these shows in the last 6 months or so and showing all the support that they have, I probably would have been really discouraged about everything. But the fact that everyone has showed up and they have shown out, like just singing and driving the distance. Dude, there's people who drive 4 hours. Like I had some friends that drove at least 4 hours for the Commerce show, and just doing the thing and just showing me that like whatever I'm doing matters enough for them to take the time to support, and that really means as much as I may not express it. I feel like I try to, but
no, I feel like you are very, very good about that. I feel like everyone knows, how much you appreciate it.
And I really do. At the end of the day, like it's the most important thing to me because without it, I wouldn't be here. I couldn't be doing this. Like it's, it shows me that like I should keep going, and super grateful for that because this career means everything to me. Honestly, like it's my life's work. It's what I'm doing. It's what I want to do. I don't have anything else in mind. So the fact that there's support and people showing the support and showing up and just giving it to me, it's just amazing. So
you just said the most relatable thing I've ever heard, saying like you don't have a backup plan. I'm the same way. I'm like, dude, if people don't watch this show, if people don't read my work, I don't know what else I'm gonna like. This is it. This is it for me.
Absolutely.
This is what I'm doing. So I hope y'all enjoy it. I hope y'all support it.
Yep. No backup plan.
Real quick, I think everyone watching obviously knows, but where can we find just like your social media, but where can we find all of your work?
All the work, you just search up whatever music platform you're on. It's just Cade with a V, so it's KVDE, and it's pronounced Cade, not KVDE or Cavade or anything like that.
Cavade would be
Cade. So yeah, it's KVDE. If you want to find me on any social platforms, it's Cade with the V, so it's KVDE. Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Dude, okay, thank you so much for coming in here again. You're first reoccurring guest ever, and obviously I know you're going to be very busy. You're not going to be around for a while, but obviously, but everyone here at Chad's Media, man, we are rooting for you. We're supporting you. We got your back no matter what. We appreciate you working with us and doing stuff, so anytime you're ever home, obviously we want to have you back, dude. If nothing else, we'll Zoom you in. We'll get you on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We can't wait to do it again, man. Can't wait to see what you do here in the future.
Thank you, bro.
Thank y'all so much for joining us here for another episode of the Tyler Lennon Show. We have a ton of great content coming up this month. Plenty of new shows on the way. I know y'all are going to watch that one more time. Thank you so much to Cade. We will see y'all next time.